Oh, Um, ooh, all right. All right. Let's check the connection. Ooh, all right. Okay. All right. So I think we are all set for, okay. So, welcome everyone. Let's see. Let me try to, let's move our screen. There we go. Okay. All right. I think that's a little bit better. Okay. So I want to welcome everyone to the Beauty Boardroom Student Success Live Virtual Coaching Session. My name is Mia. Thank you for joining us every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. We're running a little behind schedule again today, starting at 7:45 Eastern Standard Time, but that's quite all right. Okay, so these office hours are designed to help cosmetology students and beauty analogous professions to develop better study habits, prepare for exams, and stay motivated throughout your educational journey. Okay, so we're going to set a few ground rule expectations for our presentation tonight. So everybody's going to be on mute until given the opportunity to unmute. And this is a group discussion, so I will answer questions for the benefit of the group. And if you feel like you need individualized study sessions with me, we can discuss offline in a private chat for what it is that you need as it relates to your study habits for your board exam. Okay, so we're going to get started with our agenda, and we're going to do our best to keep on topic and on time to respect everybody's time. So that takes us into our introduction. That said, welcome. The Beauty Boardroom is a Michigan-based company that helps beauty-related professions to prepare for licensing exams. We provide students and instructor candidates in cosmetology and other beauty-related professions with practical study strategies, exam preparation guidance, and ongoing support to help you to navigate and study smarter, build confidence, and achieve your educational goals and your career goals as well. All right, so our teaching philosophy. So the teaching philosophy is based on four pillars that help students to succeed. The four pillars are as follows. We want to help you study strategically, help you to build your understanding, practice consistently, in addition to preparing you to confidently pass your board exams on your first attempt. As you can see, we have a flyer here. This is our weekly flyer. This is a flyer for today, Tuesday, 7:30. So a little bit about me. So my name is Mia Tway. I am based in the great state of Michigan. I am from Detroit specifically. I currently live in the Detroit area, and I graduated beauty school in 2015. I went to a local cosmetology school, and at the time, I was working full time as a public servant. So I went to beauty school part time, and after 18 months of completion, I was able to earn my cosmetology licensure after passing my board exam for the practical and theory portion. So I know what it's like to juggle multiple priorities at the same time while going back to school. I'm very passionate about the beauty industry. I've dibbled and dabbled here and there, in and out of the beauty industry over a great majority of my life. Um, After I did the cosmetology program, I went back to school to do the instructor program at a local trade school as well. I graduated at the time that I graduated just before the pandemic, but it took me a whole year to take my licensure examination because of the stay in place orders due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of that, it took me a year to take my exam, a year after I graduated the instructor program, and I traveled to Ohio to take a proctored exam by the test provider that's for the state of Michigan. At that time, I was able to pass my licensure exam, and they gave you your passing notification immediately after you hit the last question and hit submit. I had only began studying weeks prior to the examination because I did delay taking the examination. So I've been where you are with regards to wanting to take the exam, wanting to pass, and not wanting to waste your money to be making multiple attempts on an exam. So that's one of the reasons why I created the beauty boardroom for that sole purpose. So we're going to move right along so we can keep on schedule. For the benefit of the room at this juncture, I'm going to allow people to unmute and introduce themselves, for them to share a little bit about themselves. I want to know what's your name. I want to know where you're from. I want to know what program are you studying, and what exam are you preparing for? So if anybody wanted to unmute at this time, you can feel free to do so, to unmute at this time. I will give a couple of seconds to see if anybody is interested in unmuting themselves. Let's see. Let's get our participants. Nobody is willing to unmute at this time. That's quite fine. As we get more into the weeks of our study sessions and as we get more participation, people may be less shy. So we're going to move right along. That said, we're going to move right along to our question of the week. Okay, so normally I get questions from students throughout the week. And let's see, one of our questions that I received this week, one moment. One moment. Okay, one question that I received this week was, what is the best way to study? What does it say? What is the best way to study for my license exam? Well, okay. Uh, all right. So these questions are going to get answered off the cuff every week. So what's the best way to study for my license exam? Well, assuming that you are taking the cosmetology licensure exam or the cos instructor or beauty related profession, my best recommendation on how to study for a license exam would be preparation. Um, Whenever you study for a licensure exam, you need to plan out your attack as it relates to how you're going to, you almost have to plan to pass the exam. Planning to pass the exam starts while you're in the program. You don't want to wait until you're done with the program in order for you to begin your study prep. All throughout your educational program and journey, you're learning didactics so that you can regurgitate the information. So the best way to study for a license exam is to begin your studies while you're in the course. After you're done with the course, you're going to take what all you what all you learned, and you're going to condense that into mini study sessions. And by many, I don't mean multiple, although it can be mean multiple, but what I mean is mini, like miniature. So after you're done with so during your program, you're going to be content consuming. After your program, you're going to be reviewing. And if you're reviewing, you're going to be going over key areas that are on your content blocks for your exam. If you have been tuning into our other study sessions that we've had so far, that is where we began. We began with the study, with outlining what the content is for the examination that you're going to undertake. So best way to start studying for a licensure exam is start now, start where you are, and you can go from there, right? It's better to plan ahead than to do nothing. So, okay. So I hope that answered the question of the week. At least that's my take on the question of the week. If anybody has any comments, drop them in the chat. Let's see what do you think the best way to study for a license exam would be, okay? All right, so we're going to that moves us right into our lesson for the day. Today, so whenever I do lessons, we're going to do a little bit of a recap. If you were or weren't tuning in last week we did a couple of different things. Oh, there's a fly here. Ooh, and it's near the camera. Ew, all the pens and pencils fell. All right, so we did three things last week. We located the state board website. We found out who our test proctor was, and you would have printed out your candidate information bulletin. If you have not been able to do that, you need to take a look at my video from the week prior, and you will be able to, and I walk you through how to locate those different line items. Okay, so for the purposes of my examples, I live in Michigan, so my examples are going to be Michigan based, but I do give information on how you are able to do these different things on your in your leisure prior to listening to this lesson. So if you need to pause listening to this, do so that you could leave and come back, or you can continue with this content and then you can go back and watch the content prior. That way you would catch yourself up. All right. So we located the state board website for Michigan. It is the Michigan Board of Cosmetology, Labor and Regulatory Affairs. Okay. We found our test proctor for the state of Michigan. At this time, the test proctor is called, I don't know what it stands for, but it's called PSI. Uh, that is our test proctor for Michigan right now. We also noted last week that in the state of Michigan, much along lines with other states, there is a movement towards a national cosmetology and barber board examination. I don't know if that means that all of the states are going to be utilizing the same, I don't know if it's the same test content, or I don't know if it's the same proctoring software. I'm not sure what that means as it relates to what it says, but that's just what the site says. Conversely, it was difficult. It's a little difficult to navigate the website as it's changed and been updated within a couple of months, I noticed. Okay, so at this juncture, we are going to, oh, your homework also last week was to complete the study time assessment survey, because I wanted to know how many hours of study time can you handle? And I wanted to know how long from now is your exam. So those are the two questions that as a result of you having completed the study time assessment survey, you will be able to know how many hours of study time that you can handle and how long from now is your exam. So if you have not done that, I'm going to walk you right on through it. If you didn't do the homework on your own, we're going to be recapping. So that's exactly what we're going to do right now. So bear with me as we click on our links, and I will share a new screen because I need to keep my I need to keep my presentation screen intact so I don't lose it. Okay, and then let me do a little bit of finagling here. And then I will be able to share an additional screen with you. So let me download this document. Here, let's share the screen now. Where's my browser? Where's my browser bar on my video? I want to share this screen. There we go. Okay, so we're going to share. We're going to share this screen. Whoop. Whoop. Okay, so now we're sharing this screen. Let me just make sure that it's sharing properly. Okay, so this is our screen that we're sharing now. I'm going to download this file. And then we're going to open it. We're going to open it in Microsoft. So that way I can edit the document. Computer is moving a little bit slow. Let's open this with Microsoft Edge. And then we will share this screen. Okay. So this is how we're going to do this one. All right. So as you can see, this is our study time assessment survey. And what we're going to do is we're going to complete it. I'm going to do, so basically this is going to be a mock version of as if today I'm not instructor Coach Meah. I am student Meah right now so that we could go through this study time assessment survey together. So, okay, for this survey, this was designed for you to assess what you need with regards to your study time. So I need you to be honest in your responses as we complete this. If you don't have a computer handy, if you just have your phone handy, I need you to get out a piece of paper and get yourself a pen or a pencil. You can absolutely follow along and do this. That way you know what to do without even having a printer or anything in front of you. That's fine. So I want you to be honest in your responses. Your study plan should reflect your actual study habits and not what you want to do. I need this to reflect what you actually are going to do and how you actually are, not how you want to be, because my study systems are designed to get you to where you need to be in order for you to feel confident to take your exam. Okay, so how many days do I have before my exam? I'm going to say, so today, let's say that my exam is in a month. So if my exam is in a month, that means I have about 30 days to study. So, okay, that. Okay, how many hours? Oh, here, I'm also writing my answer. 30 days before my exam. Okay, how many hours per day can you realistically study? Let's see, taking into account my schedule right now. I'm pretty busy. I have a 9 to 5. So if I were to say, okay, so 9 to 5, and then it maybe takes me an hour to probably get home. So we're going, this is how you're gonna, so basically I'm talking as if I'm completing this with you. So you should be asking yourself the same similar questions that I'm asking myself right now. So if I work a 9 to 5 and I need to take this exam, but I got it in 30 days, what else do I have to do? Whenever I get home, I might need to eat, or I might need to prepare my food. I might need to do my laundry occasionally. So let's say that in the evening, I might have 2 hours to study, sometimes three. So, okay, I'm gonna mark, I can study about 2 to 3 hours. So you can mark an X in your boxes, or you could be more specific. So I'll just be specific. I got 2 hours to study. Okay, do I prefer short or long study sessions? Hmm. What's your preference? Do you prefer long or short study sessions? Let's see, with my level of focus right now, I would say that I prefer short study sessions right now. How long can I realistically stay focused in one session? That's a great question. Let's see, if I was in a study session at this time, how long would I be able to focus uninterrupted? I might be able to do a good 60 minutes. Um, yeah, for focus reasons. I could probably do 60 minutes of like reading uh, or something. I'm gonna answer that. Okay, do I need breaks in my study session? Yes, absolutely. I might need a snack break. I might need a bathroom break. So I think I probably the type of person I'm gonna need maybe 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes between sessions. Okay. All right. We're moving right along. As you see, we're getting through this pretty quickly. All right. So can I commit to the following type of study plan? Whew, let's see. Can I commit to a short-term study plan, which is like 7 days or less? Can I commit to a medium-term plan, which is 7 to 14 days? Can I commit to a long-term plan, which is 14 plus days? Or do I think I could do a variable term or any timeline? I think based on my study habits, I think I will be able to do any study term. You need to answer what's good for you. If you feel like you don't want to be studying that long, you want to study strong and not study long, then you need to do the short term or the medium term plan. If you don't mind stretching things out, if sometimes it takes you a little bit more time to grasp or to do whatever, you might benefit from a long term plan. So which plan might I benefit from using the most right now? If you were to pick a plan, what would you be able to do right now? Would you be able to do a structured study method where you do 7, 14, or 30 days of studying? Or would you be comfortable doing a flex study plan, which is like a quick study plan, a short-term study plan on a daily basis, a long-term plan on a weekly basis, bi-weekly? Or do you think that a flex variable plan would work for you? For me, or a combination? Okay, for me, I think, let's see, since I have 30 days to study and I can study for 2 hours at a time, I think I might benefit from using a 14-day study plan right now. And I think I could benefit from even a long-term flex plan. All right, so I'm going to save my answers. Uh-oh. Well, I saved it to the document well, it's okay. All right, so this is going to be Mia's example study plan responses from 7/14. All right, so I'm going to save that. Now, we know that that's how I answer my questions. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to go back to our presentation. Okay, now, based on what we just did, how many hours of study time can I handle? We have answered that question. We have determined that Meah can handle, Meah, the student, can handle 2 hours of study time per session. And we have outlined that my exam is 30 days from now. My mock exam is 30 days from now. Now we're going to recap additional information from last week's lesson, okay? Now, in this example, we have assumed that I had 10 hours to study, okay? So let's assume that I have 10 hours to study. What we would do, based on the information that's from our candidate information bulletin that we obtained last week, with that combined with your study time assessment survey should get you an example of how many hours you need to study each content block. Okay, so let's see, because I said that I had 2 hours that I could realistically study, and because I said, let's see, what did I say? Because I said that I had 2 hours to study, and because I indicated, that I was comfortable doing a 14-day study plan. So 2 hours for 14 days. Okay. And then for this spring. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 2 hours times 14, 2 hours a day at the 14 days that I had designated. That means that I have 28 hours of study time total. You could even do it where maybe you want to round up to a more, even though 28 is an even number, you can round up your study time if you wanted to. So for the purposes of our example, even though my calculation is that I'm going to study 28 hours, I'm going to add an additional day to that, and over a 15-day period, and I'm going to be 30 hours. So basically what I'm doing now is assuming that I had 10 hours to study. Let me see, do I have an additional screen here? Let's take this. So if we're going to assume that we have 10 hours to study, we're going to just, because I am going to study for 30 hours, we're going to assume that this example says 30, okay? And if the example said 30, it would be really 3 times the numbers that you see here. So as an example, you would take each content block, you would take the total hours that you have that you need to study, and you multiply it by the percentage of, by the decimal percentage in order for you to determine how many total hours that you need to study. So because I'm going to study for 30 hours, I'm going to take this number and I'm going to multiply it by 3. That's just for my example. For your example, you can calculate all of this stuff out. And I have a calculation sheet. Okay, that takes us to our study time content calculation sheet. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need a worksheet, a pencil, and a calculator to do this part. So we're going to open up another screen. Let's share this screen. All right. Now, I hope you could see what we have here. Okay. So this is the study time content calculator. So like I said, it's a little easier to illustrate if I could show you better than I could tell you. So I'm gonna actually download this because I'm gonna have to write over it. Okay. And we're gonna open this up in Edge again. I'm going to share this new screen. All right. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's my study assessment survey. Let's open full page. Okay, this is what we wanted. This is the study time content calculator. So how we're going to complete this. And bingo, our example says 30 hours. So this is perfect. So you're going to customize your study plan using our system, my system. You're going to calculate your study time. Using your candidate information bulletin, enter each content area and its corresponding percentage. Then you're going to calculate your study time based on your total available hours. Okay, so you need your candidate information bulletin, you need your writing utensil, and you need a calculator. Okay, so as an example, our example is 30 hours. My example is 30 hours. So for my content topic one, that's in my candidate information bulletin, let's say that my content topic is teaching methods, even though I'm just making up something. Let's say my content block is teaching methods, topic one. Okay, let's say that that is worth 50% of the test. Okay, so in order to make this a decimal, you gotta do what it says here. Where's my highlighter? If you want to make this a decimal, convert the percentage to a decimal by moving the decimal point 2 places to the left. So you see how this is a 50. You move that decimal to the left, and then you get 50 or 0.50. Okay, that's how you're going to make your percentage your decimal. After that, you take your decimal, you multiply it by the total amount of hours you got to study. And that means you got to devote 15 hours to that particular content area. So I'm going to do another number as an example. We're going to still use the same content area. So I'm going to duplicate this. So let's say that might not be as readable as it could be. Okay, let's move our decimal 2 places to the left. That means we got 0.50 times the amount of hours that I'm going to study. Let's say that we use my first example of 28 hours. Ooh. Okay, so 50.50 times 28 hours, where's our calculator? Okay, 0.5 times 28. That means we're going to study for 14 hours. We're going to study teaching methods for 14 hours. Okay, so common things that you're going to encounter. Okay, if you're rounding your study hours, okay, if your calculated study time results in a decimal number, so what after this calculation, let's see, if after this calculation, if this ends up in a decimal, oh, this is terrible. Hold on, let me undo that. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Let's say if it results in a decimal. Normally you get decimals whenever you use odd numbers. So here's an example. Let's say 0.5 times, let's say 27 hours. This is going to give you a weird number combination. So let's say I was going to study 27 hours times 0.5. Now you got a decimal, 13.5 hours. If you get a decimal, if your decimal is 0.5 or higher, you need to round up. So this means that I'm going to really study 14 hours because with a 5, you round up. 5 or more, you round up. 4 or less, you round down. Okay. So as an example, practically speaking, like this. So if your study time for a section is 2.65 hours, round up to 3 hours. If it's 2.35, you could either round up to 2.4. Well, that's the best thing actually, because of the 3.5. So you got to do a little bit of math to do this. So, okay, so I hope you understood my example. Now, I want you to be able, now you should be able to calculate you should be able to continue and calculate your study time content calculation sheet on your own. If you need assistance from me, you can reach out to me in the DMs or something during the week. Oh, there's that fly again. Um, you can reach out to me during the week and I'll make myself available to help you with your content calculation sheet. That way you'll be on pace next week in order to do what we need to do. Okay. All right. So let's see. That takes us to our second. So I showed you that. Okay, so now we'll go back to our presentation. Oop. Where we have a portion of the screen. Okay. All right. That takes us back to our presentation. All right, so we were able to do that. That takes us to the next thing, which is going to be your weekly challenge. Okay. So every week you're going to get a weekly challenge, and your goal is going to be to complete the task before the next session. I'm going to tell you the estimated time that it should take you to complete this. So it's going to be 30 minutes to complete your study time content calculation sheet. And then next week, you're going to bring back the assignment completed. That way we can move forward to the next portion of the session. So today's homework is for you to complete that study time, excuse me, for you to complete that study time content calculation sheet. That assignment link is going to be in the description of the new video that's reposted of this after it's chopped and screwed, to get the transitions a little bit more with ease. Okay. So that's the homework. The homework tonight is to complete the study time content calculation sheet. I will be sharing a link for that in the description of, let's see, I don't know if it'll be of this live video, but I will repost this video and you'll be able to have access to that via Google Drive. So that takes us to our discussion. So if anybody has any questions at this time about the content that's delivered this week or about the content calculation guide, if you got a question about the candidate information bulletin, right now will be the time to ask those questions. If you have any, you can unmute yourself or raise your hand and I can unmute you at this time. I want to help you to work through the lesson with me. Okay, if nobody has any, I'm not seeing anybody that needs any assistance. So, okay, so we're gonna move right along because we're gonna move right along to our success tip of the week. Okay, so our success tip of the week. Oops. Bear with me. Success tip of the week for session 3. Okay, success tip of the week. Oops. Okay, so success tip of the week would be for you to schedule your exam study sessions. You need to make time for yourself for passing the examination. You're going to need to schedule your sessions because a planned session is better than an unplanned session. Like we said earlier, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you want to factor your study schedule into your normal daily routine or into your schedule that you are going to outline for yourself, or we created or not created. We have outlined and identified how many hours you might be able to study and over what time period you need to study. Now it's going to be as simple as earmarking time, setting aside time, carving out time for you to do just that. Okay, so that's your success tip of the week this week is for you to carve out your time for you. Okay, so then we have some words of encouragement. I want you to take this thought with you until we meet again next week. We have a quote from Miss Maya Angelou. And the quote of the day, or the thought of the day, the encouraging thought of the day is nothing will work unless you do. Maya Angelou is an African American memoirist, an essayist, poet, civil rights activist as well. And she published 7 autobiographies, 3 books of essays, several books of poetry, and is credited with a list of plays, movies, and television shows spanning over a 50-year period. And this is a portrait of her. Um, pictured with a copy of her debut memoir and autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, from 1971. So that is the word of encouragement that I have for you this week. Okay, and we're winding things down. We're winding the presentation down at this time because we did cover a lot today. I don't want to overwhelm you. I hope everybody is still with me. And if you're still with me, you can put a heart in the chat, put a thumbs up in the chat if you're still with me at this time. Okay. And we're going to take this time out to allow people to unmute themselves and ask any questions if they need to ask any questions at this time with the content. Any questions about the content or related subjects that might be for the benefit of the room? Here's that fly again. All right, if not, we're going to move on. There we go. Got him. Hopefully I zonked them out of here. Okay, so all right, so I want you to check out our social media pages. Got a little bit of a slow start, but please check out our social media pages and follow along with us on the sessions that we're going to provide to you on YouTube. We also have an Instagram account, and we'll be using that to share exam tips in the future. So you can join that our Instagram page. And I want you to stay connected for new lessons, study tips, and other coaching updates that I might have. We have the YouTube. These are screenshots of the YouTube and a screenshot of our Instagram. Well, let's see. I don't think I have a screenshot of the Instagram just yet. But on Instagram, you can reach us at the Beauty Boardroom Code in order for you to stay connected. Okay, and here is our QR code for the next session. If you felt that today's session was helpful for you, or if you think that the content that you could use it, I would love to see you back next week. Our registration is open now for our free Zoom sessions. You can feel free to scan the QR code before you leave for next week's free student success coaching session. I want to thank you all at this time for being here with me. Thank you for joining me. And your participation is the better part of the Beauty Boardroom. Again, I'm Coach Meah, and I want to thank you for joining our Success office hours for our live virtual coaching session, where we help you study smarter, build confidence, and pass with purpose. I want to wish you good luck on your board exam and happy studying.